Now let me give you a little bit on this. The FCC chairman has a new assistant. It's such a small world. Former PR person or spokesperson of Free Press. Isn't that a coincidence? What a wild coincidence. Oh, by the way, an FCC also has a diversity czar. His name is Mark Lloyd. He says the fairness doctrine doesn't go far enough. He also talks about the important Venezuelan democratic revolution. I could go on and on and on, but do you see what's happening? Now, how do we fix it? I have news for you. I want to tell you real quick. I want you to hear the words, because every time I think people know this guy, and nobody seems to. He is the administrator of the White House Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs. It's a man I talk about all the time, and every time I talk to audiences, they have no idea who this man really is. You do, I bet. Cass Sunstein. Oh, I love you. Almost all gun control legislation is constitutionally fine. The Second Amendment seems to specify its own purpose. By the way, these are all different statements, different times. The Second Amendment seems to specify its own purpose, which is to protect a regulated militia. Do you know why do you know why Ben Franklin went door to door and said, grab your gun? You got a gun? Come on, Tom, go out in the, come on, we're going to march up and down the street. You know why that happened? Because the government wasn't doing their job. Let's talk a minute about a well-regulated militia and why you might need one because the government isn't doing their job. Let's meet people in Texas, Arizona, and California. In a speech at Harvard University, he said, we ought to ban hunting. In a book, Current Debates and New Directions, he said, we should grant animals the right to bring a suit. He's close. I'd like to make a few animals into a suit. He says, I have argued in favor of a reformulation of the First Amendment. The overriding goal of the reformulation is to reinvigorate process of democratic deliberation by ensuring greater attention to public issues and a greater diversity of views. Do I need to show you the squirrel playing the piano with a pencil in his teeth? In light of an astonishing economic and technological changes, we must doubt whether, as interpreted, the constitutional guarantee of free speech is adequately serving democratic goals. The system of limitless individual choices, listen to this, a system of limitless individual choices with respect to communications isn't necessarily in the interest of citizenship and self-government. In taxes, he says, in what sense is the money in our pockets fully yours? Better not say that on my land. He says, much of the time the United States seems to have embraced a confused and pernicious form of individualism. This is the most dangerous man in America because he controls the information. He also controls the regulatory system. He wrote a book called Nudge. Don't nudge me. Because after I don't move, you push me. Then you shove me. And then what happens? Oh, I know. I remember because I heard this from our new manufacturing czar, Ron Bloom. What was it? Oh, yeah. We all pretty much agree with Mao that power comes from the barrel of a gun. Yes, it does. Why do you think they want to take yours away? Listen, you stand up You get your friends to stand up. You teach your children to stand up. You go to your PTA meetings, and when somebody says something stupid, you go to your softball games, and when your kids win a trophy for just showing up, you take that trophy and you say, our family doesn't accept stuff we didn't earn. This is a loser trophy. It makes us a loser by going, look at Johnny, look at you tried. Damn right you tried. You also sucked a few innings. Now get in there and win next time. What are we teaching our kids? You teach your kids right now to stand up. You teach your kids about history. And when their teacher says, oh, and you know that whole George Washington thing, he was a reefer madness guy. You tell them, stand up. Show that to me. Show me the footnotes. Where did you get that? You read the book. Look, I'm a self-educated man, and I'm proud of it. If you have a Harvard degree or a law degree from Yale or Princeton, what the hell do I care? What difference does that make? I can sit down with the best of them one-on-one. Really? Oh, Mr. Degree, I don't have one. But how about this one? Let's argue the constitutionality of things. Let's argue the facts and the figures. Not whether he's black or white, but what it says in black and white. All right. So here's how we fix it. Now look, you got to go out and vote. You got to do all those things. I ain't here to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. You're smart enough to figure that one out on your own. I have to tell you something. We have to fix something else because the Titanic is going down. And you know what? Don't worry about it. What difference does it make that the ship goes down? Who cares? You telling me we can't build another ship? We need the passengers. We need the passengers on the ship. That is the thing we need to worry about, not the damn ship. Let it go down. Build a lifeboat. We'll build another one. We have a great plan. It's called the Constitution. We'll build it again. Have no fear. But here's what we have to do. First of all, you have to recognize the pattern, because this whole thing is a pattern. It's over. It repeats over and over and over again. You can find it, small scale, large scale. It's the same thing. The reason why the progressives lost in the 1900s is because we were connected to God. We were connected to God, we were connected to the Constitution, and we were connected to our founders. That's our Achilles heel now. We're not connected to our founders. We're not connected to the Constitution. And we're not connected to God. Look at how this works. They knew that we were a religious and moral people. And we solved problems. Homelessness. Not with social justice, but with charity. Social justice, socialism. Redistribution of wealth. Marxism. Now you can read this down. Let's just make this global warming. Okay? This is a big problem. I had to take my jacket off. Of course, that may be that I'm wildly out of shape and eat too many cupcakes, but I'd go with the sun having nothing to do with the global warming. God, moral people, charity, global warming. It's a problem. They're telling us that it's a moral issue. Got to solve it. It's a moral issue. It's for our kids. Can we read this one instead of down? Could we read it up? If you're a Marxist, you know you can't sell redistribution of wealth, not to Americans. You can't sell socialism. Keep moving up. Social justice. So wait a minute. Nobody really knows what social justice is. Social justice. Now being taught in our churches. Been taught for a long time. But now people don't even know where it started, why it started. Social justice is good if it is you as the individual. But that's not what's behind it. Social justice. If it's global warming, it's ecological justice, which is a moral issue. God tells you to do it. When you read it up, you see how it works. That's what they're doing. Healthcare. Economic justice. Education. Social justice. All of it. Read it up. What's at the top? Start at the top. God. This is the way our country used to be. It used to be God is our foundation. Charity and government was the last stop. It was the smallest. They've reversed it. God is now the smallest. Social justice has replaced charity, and the government is all-consuming.